Western Nebraska certainly has a unique set of challenges when it comes to growing trees. This is a drier part of the world. In fact, out here on the border with Wyoming, it's more of a Rocky Mountain influenced climate, typically less than 20 inches of moisture per year, sometimes closer to 10 inches of moisture per year. And the trees and shrubs that we can grow out here, that naturally occur out here, are acclimated to that small amount of moisture. We want to take a closer look at some of these trees and a few shrubs that make sense for the landscape that will thrive on this lower moisture regime here in western Nebraska. One of the best native trees to talk about for Nebraska is ponderosa pine. It occurs naturally out here in the Panhandle and even eastward into the central sandhills. Ponderosa pine tolerates the worst of the drought conditions thrown at it. It's a long needled pine, typically 7 to 8 inches long is the needle. It's got a very distinctive cone, and it's got a beautiful brown to cinnamon red bark. It's very worthwhile to plant in the landscape. Rocky Mountain juniper is a very important species here in western Nebraska. It's the cousin of eastern red cedar, but actually more adapted to the western part of the state. Extremely drought tolerant, extremely heat tolerant. A great way to use Rocky Mountain juniper is that first planting in the shelter belt to give protection for other plantings. It's a wonderful, quick growing and very drought tolerant tree for western Nebraska. One of the neat things about the Pine Bluffs area here in western Kimball County is it's the only place in the state native to limber pine, one of 2 native pine trees for Nebraska. This is limber pine, a tree that normally grows in more abundance in the Rocky Mountains, but is definitely at home here in western Nebraska. It'll tolerate high heat and very much significant droughts, so limber pine is a good choice for our landscapes. It's soft needled, needles of 5. It grows slowly, maybe 40 to 50 feet over a lifetime, but we can show you in the Kimball City Park that it can grow to 70 feet. And one of the neat things about limber pine is its very resinous cones. When you see these cones with all the resin caked on them, that's definitely limber pine. 2 other species of pine that we probably should mention for use in western Nebraska that are very drought tolerant. One is pinion pine, a slow growing pine. The pine of the desert southwest that has the pinion nuts in it, very good choice for western Nebraska. And then also bristlecone pine, a pine that grows in the southwest part of the country. Its native range, it's dated to be over 4,000 years old, some specimens, and it's another good choice for those very drought-tolerant sites. As with everything, when we talk about landscaping, diversity is the spice of life. It's important that we try to make our landscapes as diverse as possible. We've looked at a few pine trees here today that make sense in the western Nebraska landscape. We can talk about shrubs and other trees that make sense in western Nebraska too, but always remember, diversity is the spice of life, and try to incorporate as many varieties of those trees and shrubs in your landscape as you possibly can to resist diseases and weather events.